Welcome back to English Compass. Imagine walking into a room full of professionals. People are shaking hands, exchanging names, laughing over shared projects. You stand near the edge, holding your notebook or your phone, waiting for the right moment to speak. But the right moment never comes. The conversations move too fast. The jokes fly by. You feel invisible. You tell yourself, I'm not good at networking. I'm not an extrovert. Maybe I should just stay quiet. If you have felt this moment, you are not alone. Many English learners believe networking means being loud, collecting business cards, and pitching yourself non-stop. They imagine it as a performance, a test of charisma, a competition for attention. And when they compare themselves to that image, they step back. They avoid events. They send cold emails they never expect to be answered. They accept that professional connections are just not for them. If you have felt this moment, you are not alone. Many English learners believe networking means being loud, collecting business cards, and pitching yourself non-stop. They imagine it as a performance, a test of charisma, a competition for attention. And when they compare themselves to that image, they step back. They avoid events. They send cold emails they never expect to be answered. They accept that professional connections are just not for them. But here is a quiet truth. Networking is not about selling yourself. It is about building mutual value. It is not about talking the most. It is about listening the best. It is not about collecting contacts. It is about cultivating relationships. In English-speaking professional cultures, the most respected connectors are not the loudest speakers. They are the curious questioners, the consistent follow-ups, the people who make others feel seen, heard, and respected. Today, I will share the exact art of professional networking in English. Not the transactional version, the relational version. You will learn why small talk is not empty noise, but a trust-building bridge. You will discover the cultural rules that make conversations flow naturally. You will practice exact phrases for every stage: the approach, the conversation, the graceful exit, and the powerful follow-up. And you will get a simple, sustainable framework to build professional connections, even if you are introverted, even if you are still building confidence, even if you are learning English as a second language. Before we begin, take a slow breath. Place your hand over your chest. Say this out loud. I do not need to be the loudest in the room. I need to be the most present. I will listen with curiosity. I will connect with respect. Good. Let's step into the quiet power of professional networking. The myth of working the room and the reality of authentic connection. Let's begin with a story you might recognize. His name was Daniel. He had just moved to London for a tech conference. He spent weeks preparing. He printed business cards. He memorized a 30-second pitch about his background. He told himself, I will meet at least 20 people. I will hand out my card. I will follow up on LinkedIn. He walked into the venue feeling determined. For 2 hours, he approached strangers. He delivered his pitch. He exchanged cards. He smiled. He nodded. He felt productive. 3 weeks later, he checked his inbox. 0 replies. His LinkedIn connections sat silent. He felt confused. He thought, maybe I need a better pitch. Maybe I need to speak faster. Maybe networking just doesn't work for me. But Daniel's problem was not his English. It was his approach. He treated networking like a transaction. Give pitch, get card, send message, expect reply. This is called transactional networking. It views people as stepping stones, not partners. It focuses on extraction, not exchange. And in English-speaking professional environments, transactional networking rarely works. It feels mechanical. It creates distance. It burns out quickly. The alternative is relational networking. It does not start with what you want. It starts with what you can offer. It asks, who is this person? What do they care about? How can I support them? It listens more than it speaks. It follows up with value, not demands. It builds trust slowly, then compounds it over months. Relational networking is not about collecting contacts. It is about cultivating a web of mutual respect. For English learners, this shift is crucial. Language anxiety often pushes us towards scripts. We memorize openings. We rehearse answers. We avoid improvisation because we fear mistakes. But scripted networking feels rigid. It kills curiosity. It makes the other person feel like they are listening to a recording, not a human. I once coached a learner named Sophia. She was a brilliant data analyst, but she struggled to connect at industry events. She spoke too fast. She jumped straight into technical details. She forgot to ask about the other person. I taught her one simple rule: lead with curiosity, not credentials. Instead of starting with, "I work in machine learning and I'm looking for a role," she learned to start with, "What projects are you most excited about right now?" The change was immediate. People leaned in, conversations deepened. She received 3 meaningful introductions that month. Not because her English became perfect, because her focus shifted from proving herself to understanding others. Networking in English is not a test of vocabulary, it is a test of presence. When you are fully present, you notice cues, you hear interests, you ask better questions, you respond naturally. You do not need complex grammar, you need clear attention. You do not need a flawless accent, you need a respectful tone. You do not need to dominate the conversation, you need to guide it with empathy. Many learners believe introversion is a networking disadvantage. It is not. Introverts listen deeply, they think before speaking, they follow up thoughtfully. These are professional superpowers. The goal is not to become an extrovert. The goal is to become a confident connector, someone who enters a room with curiosity, not competition, someone who values quality over quantity, someone who understands that one meaningful conversation is worth more than 20 shallow exchanges. Vocabulary in context. Listen to these 5 phrases. They will anchor today's framework. Transactional networking, treating professional connections as exchanges focused on personal gain. Relational networking, building long-term trust through mutual value and genuine curiosity. Language anxiety, the fear of making mistakes that limit spontaneous communication, presence over performance, prioritizing attentive listening and authentic engagement over rehearsed delivery. Mutual value, creating connections where both parties benefit through support, knowledge, or opportunity. Repeat after me. Transactional networking. Relational networking. Language anxiety. Presence over performance. Mutual value. Good. Keep these in mind. They explain why scripted approaches fail and why curiosity-driven conversations succeed. Grammar focus, past simple versus present, perfect for career growth. Notice how I describe Daniel's journey and your ongoing path. He prepared a pitch, he exchanged cards, he felt confused. Past simple, completed actions in a finished period. His focus has shifted from proving to connecting. Present perfect, past change with present impact. You have been building professional skills. They are compounding now. Present perfect, continuous. Sustained effort leading to current results. We use these tenses to separate old struggles from ongoing growth. Repeat after me. I practiced scripts. They felt rigid. My approach has shifted toward curiosity. I have been listening more carefully. My conversations feel deeper. Perfect. You are practicing narrative grammar that honors both past effort and present transformation. The psychology of professional conversation and the cultural rules of English networking. Now, let's look at why networking in English feels different from other languages and how to navigate it successfully. In many cultures, professional conversations begin with formal titles, structured introductions, and clear hierarchy. In English-speaking environments, especially in North America, the UK, Australia, and Canada, professional culture values approachable professionalism. This means respect is shown through warmth, not distance. Politeness is shown through engagement, not formality. Hierarchy exists, but it is often softened by first names, open questions, and shared humor. This creates a unique challenge for English learners. You might feel that starting with, "How's it going?" or "What brings you to this event?" is too casual. You might worry that small talk is unprofessional. But in English networking, small talk is not filler. It is a trust bridge. It signals safety. It reduces tension. It shows you are approachable. It allows both people to assess communication style before diving into business. Psychologically, professional networking relies on three core principles. Principle 1. The 30-70 listening rule. The most effective networkers speak for 30% of the time and listen for 70%. Why? Because people remember how you made them feel, not what you said. When you listen actively, you gather information. You notice interests. You identify pain points. You find natural opportunities to offer help. Listening is not passive. It is strategic. It is the fastest way to build professional credibility. Principle 2. The curiosity. Question framework, closed questions. Do you work in marketing? End conversations. Open questions. What kind of projects are you focusing on this year? Extend them. Follow-up questions. That sounds challenging. How did you approach that? Deepen them. Curiosity questions show respect. They prove you are engaged. They create space for the other person to share expertise. In English networking, your question quality determines your connection quality. Principle 3. The follow-up. Multiplier networking does not happen in the room. It happens in the follow-up. A strong conversation without a thoughtful follow-up disappears. A simple, value-driven message after the event cements the connection. Research shows that professionals who follow up within 48 hours with a specific reference to the conversation are 60% more likely to build lasting relationships. Follow-up is not persistence. It is professionalism. Principle 3. The follow-up. Multiplier networking does not happen in the room. It happens in the follow-up. A strong conversation without a thoughtful follow-up disappears. A simple, value-driven message after the event cements the connection. Research shows that professionals who follow up within 48 hours with a specific reference to the conversation are 60% more likely to build lasting relationships. Follow-up is not persistence. It is professionalism. Many learners struggle because they misinterpret cultural cues. They over-explain their background. They interrupt to prove knowledge. They use overly formal language that creates distance. They forget to ask for the other person's perspective. They send generic messages. Nice meeting you. Let's stay in touch. This lacks specificity. It feels automated. It does not invite response. The English networking standard is clear. Be specific. Be respectful. Be consistent. Mention something they shared. Offer a relevant resource. Suggest a low-pressure next step. Keep it concise. This shows you were present. It shows you value their time. It shows you are building a relationship, not collecting a contact. I remember attending a conference where a junior developer approached a senior director. Instead of pitching his resume, he said, "I really appreciated your point about sustainable code architecture. I've been struggling with technical debt in my current project. Would you be open to a 15-minute call next week to share one framework you recommend?" The director said, yes. They spoke. The developer implemented one suggestion. 6 months later, he was recommended for a new role, not because he was the most experienced, because he was the most respectful, specific, and consistent. Speaking practice, open question. Drill. Pause the video. I will give you a closed question. You will rewrite it as an open, curiosity-driven question. Speak it out loud. Closed. Do you like your job? Open. What aspects of your current role are most fulfilling right now? Closed. Did you work on the new project? Open. How did your team approach the launch phase of that project? Repeat the open versions. Calm, curious, engaged, good. You are training your brain to extend conversations, not end them. Vocabulary in context. Approachable professionalism, balancing respect with warmth and accessibility in professional settings. Trust bridge, light, respectful conversation that establishes safety before deeper topics. Curiosity. Question framework, using open, follow-up questions to guide meaningful dialogue. Follow-up multiplier, the compounding effect of timely, specific post-event communication. Cultural cue misinterpretation, misunderstanding tone, formality, or pacing in professional English environments. Repeat after me. Approachable professionalism. Trust bridge. Curiosity question framework. follow-up multiplier. Cultural cue misinterpretation. You are learning the invisible rules that make professional English conversations flow naturally. Grammar note, question forms, and polite modals. Notice how I frame professional inquiries. Could you share how your team handled that? Would you be open to a quick chat next week? Might I ask what resources you found most helpful? Modal verbs, could, would, might, soften requests. They show respect for the other person's time and boundaries. They are essential for professional networking. Repeat after me. Could you tell me more about your current focus? Would you be open to connecting on LinkedIn? Might I share an article that relates to your project? Excellent. You're practicing grammar that creates professional rapport. The 5-step networking framework and exact phrases for every stage. The 5-step networking framework and exact phrases for every stage. Theory is helpful, but practice is transformation. Let's build the exact art of professional networking in English. This is not about memorizing one script. It is about mastering a structure that works at conferences, online events, coffee meetings, and digital outreach. Here is the 5-step professional networking framework. Step 1. The approach. Breaking the ice with respect. Your first goal is not to impress, it is to enter the conversation smoothly. Use context-based openings. I really enjoyed your talk about topic. What inspired you to focus on that? This is my first time at this event. How has your experience been so far? I noticed we both work in field. I'd love to hear how you're navigating current industry trend. Avoid, hi, I'm looking for a job, or can I give you my resume? Start with observation, not request. Step 2, the bridge, finding common ground. Listen for keywords, reflect them back. Ask follow-up questions. Build the bridge. That sounds challenging. How did you manage the timeline? I've been exploring similar tools. What's your experience with specific software? Chick's method. It's interesting you mentioned topic. I recently read article report. How does that align with your work? This step proves you are listening. It shifts the conversation from transactional to collaborative. Step 3, the value exchange, offering and asking. Networking is reciprocal. Share briefly, ask clearly. I've been working on a project skill. If it's helpful, I can share a template I used. I'm currently exploring area. I'd appreciate hearing how you approach the early stages. Would you be open to a brief introduction to someone in your network who focuses on topic? Value exchange is not transactional. It is generous. It shows you are a contributor, not just a taker. Step 4, the graceful exit, leaving with respect. Do not linger. Do not overstay. Close clearly and warmly. I really appreciate your insights. I'll let you continue networking, but I'd love to stay in touch. This has been incredibly helpful. I won't take more of your time, but I'll send a quick follow-up. Thank you for sharing your experience. I hope our paths cross again soon. A clean exit shows professionalism. It respects their time. It leaves a positive impression. Step 5, the follow-up, where real networking begins. Within 48 hours, send a concise, specific message. Hi, name. It was great connecting at event. I especially appreciated your point about specific detail. I'm sharing resource, article, link that relates to our conversation. Would you be open to a 15-minute chat next week to discuss topic? Keep it under 150 words. Reference something real. Offer value. Suggest a low-pressure next step. Let's apply this to 3 real scenarios. Scenario 1, industry conference. You approach a speaker after their panel. Thank you for the session on remote team management. The framework you shared about asynchronous communication really resonated. I'm currently restructuring my team's workflow. Would you be open to sharing one metric you track for remote productivity? I'd love to learn from your experience. Scenario 2, virtual networking event. You join a breakout room. Hi, I'm Naeem. I work in data visualization. I noticed we're both attending sessions on AI integration. How are you seeing it impact your daily workflow? I've been testing a few tools and would love to hear your perspective. Scenario 3. LinkedIn Cold Outreach. You connect with a professional you admire. Hi. Name. I came across your post on sustainable design practices. Your point about life cycle assessment was incredibly clear. I'm currently developing a project in this space and would appreciate one resource you found foundational. Would you be open to a brief exchange next week? Thank you for your work in this field. Notice the pattern. Observe, connect, ask, offer, exit, follow up. It works everywhere. It sounds natural, it builds trust, it respects boundaries. Many learners fear that asking for help makes them look weak, but in English professional culture, asking thoughtful questions shows confidence. It shows you are actively learning. It shows you respect their expertise. The key is specificity. Vague requests get ignored. Specific, respectful requests get answered. An interactive practice, phrase matching drill. Pause the video. I will give you a situation. Choose the most professional, culturally appropriate response. Speak it out loud. Situation. A senior manager asks what you're working on. A. I'm just trying to get a job. Do you know anyone hiring? B. I'm focusing on improving my data analysis skills, specifically in Python for financial modeling. I've been building a few projects to track market trends. How is your team approaching data integration this quarter? C. I don't have much experience yet, but I'm trying hard. Correct. B. It is specific, shows initiative, asks a relevant question, and invites professional dialogue. Say B out loud, calm, clear, confident, good. Vocabulary in context. Context-based opening, starting a conversation by referencing the shared environment or topic keyword reflection, repeating or paraphrasing the other person's key terms to show active listening. Value-first exchange, offering resources, insights, or support before making a request. Graceful exit, ending a conversation politely while leaving the door open for future connection. Specific follow-up, a post-event message that references a real detail and proposes a low-pressure next step. Repeat after me. Context-based opening. Keyword reflection. Value-first exchange. Graceful exit. Specific follow-up. You are building a professional communication toolkit, not just a phrase list. Grammar focus, conditionals for professional collaboration. Notice how I frame future cooperation. If you're open to it, I'd love to share a resource. If we align on this topic, I can introduce you to a colleague. If your schedule allows, I'd appreciate a brief call next week. Conditionals show realistic, respectful possibilities. They make networking feel collaborative, not demanding. They are perfect for professional English. Repeat after me. If you have a moment, I'd appreciate your perspective. If this aligns with your focus, I can send over a template. If your calendar permits, I'd be grateful for a short conversation. Perfect. You're practicing grammar that builds professional rapport. Your professional networking daily framework. Mindset becomes reality through routine. Here is your 4-step professional networking framework. It applies the art of relational connection to your daily English practice and career development. It is simple. It is repeatable. It builds confidence gradually. Step 1. Micro-connection practice, daily 10 minutes. You do not need a conference to practice networking. Start small. Read one industry article. Write 2 sentences summarizing it in English. Record yourself explaining one key point out loud. This trains your professional vocabulary. It builds fluency in industry-specific language. It prepares you for real conversations. Step 2. Digital outreach. 2x week, 15 minutes. Choose one professional on LinkedIn or in your field. Send a concise, specific message using the 5-step framework. Reference something real. Offer value. Suggest a low-pressure next step. Do not expect immediate replies. Track your outreach. Consistency compounds. Professional networks grow through repeated, respectful contact. Step 3. Conversation review. Weekly, 20 minutes. After every networking interaction, online or offline, write a brief reflection. What question worked best? Where did I lose momentum? What phrase felt natural? What will I adjust next time? Do not judge. Observe. Notice patterns. Adjust gently. Progress is not perfection, it is awareness. Awareness leads to refinement. Step 4. Value first follow-up. Ongoing. When someone shares an insight, send a short thank you with a relevant resource. When someone answers your question, share how you applied it. When someone offers advice, update them on your progress. This is the value loop. It proves you respect their time. It shows you are a reliable contact. It transforms one-time meetings into long-term relationships. Total time, 45 minutes weekly, focused, sustainable, consistent. This framework replaces scattered outreach with intentional connection. It builds professional credibility through respectful communication, not aggressive pitching. Daily template practice. Pause the video. Fill this template out loud. Today, I practiced professional vocabulary on. My digital outreach will reference and offer. My conversation review highlights, and I will adjust. My follow-up loop will include. Example. Today, I practiced professional vocabulary on remote workflow optimization. My digital outreach will reference their recent post on AI integration and offer a case study link. My conversation review highlights asking more open questions, and I will adjust my follow-up timing. My follow-up loop will include sharing how I applied their advice to my current project. Say it twice. Clear, committed, professional. Vocabulary in context. Micro-connection practice, short daily exercises that build professional language fluency, digital outreach. Intentional, respectful online messaging to build professional relationships. Conversation review, weekly reflection that identifies strengths and areas for communication adjustment value loop, the ongoing cycle of giving, receiving, and following up that strengthens professional trust. Professional fluency, the ability to communicate industry-specific ideas clearly and respectfully in English. Repeat after me. Micro-connection practice. Digital outreach. Conversation review. Value loop. Professional fluency. You are engineering a networking life that compounds through consistency, not intensity. Grammar focus. Future continuous for ongoing professional development. Notice how I frame sustained networking. I will be reaching out to 2 professionals this week. You will be building a value loop through consistent follow-up. We will be refining our professional questions through weekly review. Future continuous shows actions that will be in progress over time. It emphasizes ongoing dedication to relationship building. Repeat after me. I will be practicing industry vocabulary daily. I will be sending thoughtful outreach messages regularly. I will be tracking my conversation patterns consistently. Excellent. You are programming your mind for long-term professional growth. Your 21-day professional connection challenge. Networking is not a performance. It is a practice. It is not about collecting contacts. It is about cultivating trust. It is not about speaking perfectly. It is about listening deeply. It is not about immediate results. It is about long-term relationships. You do not need to be the loudest in the room. You need to be the most present. You do not need flawless English. You need clear curiosity. You do not need aggressive pitches. You need respectful follow-ups. You do not need to change your personality. You need to refine your communication. Start today. Practice your micro-connections. Send thoughtful outreach. Review your conversations. Close your value loops. Let your English become a bridge, not a barrier. Let your networking become a quiet accumulation of respectful interactions. Let your career grow through consistent professional communication. I invite you to a 21-day challenge. Follow the professional networking framework. Practice daily, outreach twice weekly, review consistently, follow up intentionally, track your progress, notice the hesitation. Shrink, notice the clarity grow, notice English become a natural tool for professional connection, not a source of anxiety. When you are ready, comment below. Day 1. I listen with curiosity. I communicate with respect. I follow up with value. I build professional trust. I will read every comment. I will reply to your journey. This channel is not just for learners, it is for professional connectors. And you are building a network that lasts. Subscribe to English Compass for more stories, graded listening practice, and step-by-step fluency systems. Turn on notifications. Your next breakthrough is not in a longer study session. It is in your next thoughtful conversation. Before you go, place your hand over your chest. Repeat this final line with me. I do not force connections. I cultivate them. I listen deeply. I speak clearly. I follow up respectfully. My network is built on trust. See you tomorrow. Keep practicing, keep connecting, keep growing. The professional path is yours.